There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
From Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
He did
it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own without...
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning. And
I'ma let it say, hey, 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 papi. And I'ma let it say, hey, 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 papi. No tengo que hacer mucho esfuerzo. Mami, tú bien sabes que es la que hay. Y chica, esta noche va a haber mucho sexo. Y no hay nadie que te lo haga igual. Bebé, yo estoy tocando en tu puerta. Y yo sé que estás loca que te dé. Y tú estás bien hot, estás mojada. Y cuando camino hacia la cama sé, there's home, ven por mí. Y sé que estás
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
What's that supposed to mean? Well, you heard of the extended family? Well, this weekend you part of one, which gives me the right to extend this belt to your behind if I feel like it. Oh, I'd like to see that. Oh, you would, huh? Well, anything to oblige your guest, mister.
Man, you gotta be kidding.
Come on in here.
Oh, you must be crazy. I don't believe it.
I'm gonna make a believer out of you.
James!
Huh? No, you know the boy got it. Come on, get your behind.
I'm sorry. No! Why? He's already dead.
Remember, if you sit on the toilet at 11:59 and the clock strikes midnight, it's literally same different day. Until we meet again.
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Tix. I'm looking at this new lineup. For those of y'all that have StreamYard, there we go. They've got this whole new lineup. I haven't been on in, well, days. Been enjoying my weekend. How was y'all weekend? How was y'all 4th? Pretty sure y'all are pretty good. I cooked, we had the people come over and everything. We had a nice little party, I guess you'd call it. And man, I spent the weekend pretty much recovering from a food coma. Had some lamb, had some rabbit, because I go to the Asian store to get my meats. I try to be different, but it is what it is. How y'all doing? So, couple of things happened over 4th of July weekend, but before I get into, hold on, let me stop this from doing that.
Well, thank you.
There we go. Okay, stop that. Before we get into this, I'm gonna say this right now because I've been saying this for the past couple of months, and I'm gonna say it again right now. You got to stop with the racism talk. You got to stop calling white people out their names and all of this stuff. You really got to stop doing that. You got to stop wishing death on people based on race, because you do understand that you created a monster. You created a monster, and I get it. I know what it's born out of. It was born out of the racism, the hate that hate produces. But you're at a point now in society where you really need to let it go, because what you wound up doing, and I admit I took great part in it up until about 2019, 2020, where I was, racism this, racism that, and I made it be known, because I had people at my job that used to watch my Bitter Truth Show channel. I let it be known. I don't hate white people. I hate racists. I hate white supremacists. I always let that be known, and that still stands today. I hate racists. I hate white supremacists. I hate racists, period. No matter what color they are. I don't like racists. I don't like racism. Like, be it from the white side or the black side or the Indian side, the Mexican side, the Asian side, I don't like it. Being a light-skinned black man, growing up in black areas, being even as an adult, being around dark-skinned blacks. My problem, I didn't have to work. My problem wasn't the white man. My problem was other black people. Because I spoke properly. I could relate to different types of people. Oh, I wasn't black. I wasn't black, even though, with my background, I wasn't black. So I used to ask them, what defines blackness? What makes me black? And they could never answer the question, because I already knew what it was. Ignorance, to them, ignorance defined blackness. Sagging my pants, speaking in broken English, promoting, I know this is in kombuchas, man. Those suckers, they make you gassy, but they are bittersweet. Being an all-around hater, promoting, celebrating, and protecting criminality simply because it's done by a black person, not wanting to be accountable for nothing. To them, that was blackness. You ain't black. You ain't no black man. Like, well, what's a black man? Outside of skin tone, define a black man. Do understand we come in various shades, from charcoal black to translucent. We're not a monolith. Probably the biggest monster that black people unleashed was racists getting fired. Y'all remember that? Racists getting fired? Yeah. Look at it now. It's backfired on you. You have so many black people now getting fired for TikTok videos and YouTube videos and Instagram videos and posts and everything, because, they're stupid enough to do this stuff while in their costume, their work outfit, or they're saying some racist stuff. And of course, people easily dox you. They find out where you work. Usually done by a person that for the record. That's normally done by somebody Let me get a little closer here. And what happens is they show the job your video, and next thing you know, you're fired. You're fired. Now how you gonna pay the rent? In this economy as it stands right now, how you gonna pay the rent? You can live without lights. You can probably live without heat. I know you without lights would kill you. Electricity would kill you, because that means you have no internet, which means you can't charge your phone. And virtually everybody, especially unskilled people, They live on their phones. They cannot live without their phones. You run to the library or somewhere to charge your phone. Instead of being out looking for a job, you sitting somewhere where you can get free access to Wi-Fi and electricity on your phone all day. Meanwhile, you going home to sleep in the dark. Can't watch TV, can't watch movies. So what do? Because, you know, you want to call somebody a cracker ass cracker on TikTok. I mean, remember, race is getting fired, built its way up from white folks getting fired to now everybody gets fired. We're at a point now in society where you have black people faking hate crimes. I mean, like on the Jussie Smollett variety, faking hate crimes. I know he's not the first, but I mean, this was a celebrity. It's the same thing with the LeBron James thing. They never did find out who spray painted, you know, the N-word all over his garage. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it in order to gain attention. I mean, you're LeBron James. Your house has security. Your house has security cameras everywhere. Yet, nothing? Nothing, huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you had a mayor who faked a racial bomb threat. You had a chick in Philadelphia, a government worker, putting a noose on her own desk. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. You got actors faking like, oh, I'm getting racial death threats. Oh, yeah, show them to us. Huh? Show them to us. Crickets. Never any proof. And now you've got this situation. The reason why I bring this up is because you have this situation, of course, that happened down in Texas. I got two uncles in Texas. One in Galveston, one in San Antonio. When the flood hit, they're fine, of course. It didn't hit their areas, but you got mainly black women and white men, oddly enough, and white women, a doctor even. All liberals happy that people are dying, that people are dead because of a flood. And the sad part about it is the black people are making it racial, whereas the white people are rooting for their own genocide. And don't get me wrong, if you're stupid enough to root for your own genocide, hey, I'm right there with you, bud. Woohoo. You're stupid enough to root for your own genocide, then hey, I will not stand in your way. What do they say? Never get in your enemy's way when they're making a mistake. But the problem is with these whack-ass pro-blacks is that they try to find racism in everything. Everything is about race. Everything's about racism, white supremacy. So these people dying in Texas, oh, they white folks, this is what they get. They parents voted for Trump, so this is what they voted for. I hope they did. Fuck them crack-ass crackers. Yeah, now your ass is fired. Now you're fired. You're out of a job. Your businesses are being shuttered. Just like the white chick that called the little kid the N-word. Yeah. They doxed her. They had her social security number, everything. Yeah, same thing happening to her. Same thing happened to that black chick. Some of these black people, they can do that because they don't have a job. It's all right. Their welfare and their benefits is getting cut. So they'll have to get one. Let's see how you fare on the open market when you're not living off of the white man's teat that you hate so much. Oh, the walking contradiction. Just like that black chick. She married to or supposedly married to a white dude, but she happy that white babies are dying in a flood. Because, you know, there were no black people at that summer camp. Oh my God. I mean, the ridiculousness. Do understand that all of this is boomeranging back on you. You are now in a meritocracy society. You're now in a society that's trying to get rid of the people who will take your low IQ, no skill having ass jobs. They're trying to get these people out of the country so that way you can get up off of your ass and go feed yourself. And you're fighting that. As a black person, you're very stupid to fight against that. As a low IQ, low skill white person, you're very stupid to fight against that. Whatever money these little NGOs are paying you to get out here and protest, that money, you do understand that that money will eventually dry up. And especially if you keep getting arrested, you get arrested for these protests. When these people, these companies run these background checks, do you really think they're going to hire somebody that's likely to do a sit-in on the showroom floor or in the middle of the factory because they didn't like the snacks in the break room? You really think they're going to give you a job when your background check comes back showing that you got arrested as a protester several times? Because you're not going to be working for a Fortune 500 company upstairs in a suit and tie, drinking the good coffee, sitting in the cubicle. You're not going to be getting that job. Heaven help you if you're one of these dumbass college students that was out here protesting, not knowing that these companies, they hire people that have software that does face and voice recognition, and they do a deep dive. Those systems do a deep dive into the internet. You know how they say the internet is forever? Yeah, you may Google it and it may not pop up, but these corporations hire people whose software goes deeper than that. And they find all your stuff. They find your OnlyFans pages, your so-called pics you thought was deleted. They find those. They find your little videos that your boyfriend did of you. They find your Facebook page. They find videos, pics you didn't even know was out there, that somebody may have taken it of you at a concert. They find all of that stuff. And then they put it on a nice little portable hard drive. I don't have one sitting up here. They put it on a nice little portable little stick, little USB port stick, and here you go. Here's Lisa Turtles, all her internet activity. Here you go. Hand it right over to the corporation, and then they plug it in at the HR department, and they be like, oh, hell no. And then you wonder why you hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Because, you know, you took out a loan for Bolivian ballroom dancing, thinking that you was going to get a six-figure salary job. While you out here screaming free Palestine, thinking that mask was going to protect you. You are silly. You are silly. You are indeed silly. It is 2025, not 1995, not 2005, not 2015. Technology is better than you. Smarter than you. You understand? Corporations are out here building robots that are out here doing what do they call that? You be jumping from building to building and everything. What was it, Cock McGraw or some crap like that? Like, they got robots that are able to do that now with ease. Do you not understand how replaceable you are? And you out here making it hard for yourself by being anti-American, like you got somewhere else to go. Like you'll always be protected. Like you're setting yourself up for a big failure. Liberal tears, pineapple peach. So anyway, let's get on with it.
Very much, and that is some sight, especially after what happened just a week ago. When you look at that big, beautiful plane, and the other ones were something. It was an incredible mission, and I think I can say very proudly, and I don't have to quote the polls, that our country is more proud right now than it's been in many, many years. We have pride, we have dignity, we have something that's happened miraculously so fast. You know that our military now is the most sought after job there's ever been, serving in our military. 1 year ago, people didn't want to join our military. They didn't want to join our police or firefighters. They didn't want to join anything having to do with our country. And now, as you probably know, the enlistment is at an all-time record. We're packed. We're full. And I just think that's so important because that was so sad 1 year ago when I heard those statistics. We had a different president, but nobody wanted to join, and now we're at a record. And I will say that I just left NATO, where we had a tremendous experience. They've agreed to put up over $1 trillion a year. They went from less than 2% to 5%, and nobody thought that was possible. And they told me very strongly, the leaders of a big part of the world, respected people all, they told me that, 1 year ago, your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So that's the way it is, and that's the way we like it. And it's only going to get hotter. I promise you that. After that spectacular display of American power, let me just say that God bless the United States military, and God bless the USA. God bless the USA. And to all Americans, I want to wish you a very happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. This is going to be something special. There's spirit in this country. We haven't seen anything like it in many, many years, in decades. Let me also express our gratitude to our magnificent First Lady. She worked very hard to make this all work. We have a fireworks display about 9 o'clock tonight. I hope you're all going to be around and watch it. I know our congressmen and our senators who are standing right here, so many of them, they did such a great job. They're going to be here. I guarantee you, they're not leaving. They're not leaving.
I tell you, I didn't see not one firework on the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. I didn't see not one firework this whole month. I know we're 7 days in. I could hear it, but I saw not one firework. After 7 o'clock, I was in the house with a belly looking like I ate a barrel.
Thanks as well to the National Park Service, the USO, and countless friends and distinguished guests. We have so many people in the audience that have so much to do with the success of our country. We've, I think, had probably the most successful almost 6 months as a president and the presidency. I think they're saying it was the best 6 months, and I know for a fact they're saying the last 2 weeks there has never been anything like it as far as winning. So as you know, 2 weeks ago, our incredible Air Force pilots conducted one of the most successful military strikes in all of history, Operation Midnight Hammer, and that's exactly what it was. It was a hammer. This evening, we're honored to be joined by 150 airmen and their families from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, home of the B-2 bomber. And we've kept them a little bit on guard. We kept them a little bit, let's be a little bit quiet about it. But if you want to raise your hand very quickly, raise your hand, because you people are just incredible. They don't want to be in disguise. They say, we don't have to do that. They're looking at us like we're a bunch of babies. We don't have to be in disguise. We saw all those hands go up. Thank you very much. We owe you everything. Great job. Incredible. Just flawless. One of the most flawless military campaigns in the history of our country. If you remember years ago, they had helicopters crashing into each other. It was a disaster, the hostages in Iran. And we had just the opposite. We didn't have any crashes. We didn't lose any planes. We didn't lose anybody. Those beautiful planes that you saw were totally stealth. They flew right over the center of a very hostile country, and they never even saw it coming. And then they said, skedaddle. They dropped the bombs. They said, skedaddle. And that big sucker turned over like this on its side, and it got out of there. Well, I'll tell you what, how they do that, but they can do it. I asked our great General Kane, how do they do that? Do they really love doing that? Look at them, they're all laughing. And they said, do they really like doing it, sir? They can't wait. Better you than me. That's all I can say. It was a flawless mission. Every single bomb hit, and it was total obliteration. Total obliteration. Now,
I wonder if
even the
you're gonna
fake
pick a dig
news is
at
admitting
Steve.
that. They hated to
There
admit
it is.
but they had no choice. It was an incredible
Couldn't help
thing.
himself.
And these heroic pilots showed our enemies what it means to fly, fight, and win. To every service member who supported that mission, and we have many of them here. We've made we've made you proud by supporting, but you've made us even prouder by having the courage to get in those gorgeous machines and fly through the roughest airspace anywhere in the world. And we salute you and we honor you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. And we're also honored and delighted to be joined by hundreds of service members and military families. Those families are the best we have from all across the U.S. Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force. I love the Space Force. You know why? Because we're the ones that did it. It turned out to be a very invaluable force, actually. The Coast Guard and the Marines are incredible people. On behalf of our entire nation, this 4th of July, we thank you for keeping America safe, strong, sovereign, and free. Thank you very much for being here.
Let's see if Biden will catch us straight.
And stick around for the fireworks. And our country's had so much to celebrate this Independence Day as we enter our 249th year. America's winning, winning, winning like never before. I'll tell you, we're in a category now that's where we've wanted to be for a long time. We suffered with 4 horrible years of embarrassment. Afghanistan may be the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. We're never going to let a thing like that happen again. Trillions of dollars are pouring into the United States for investment purposes. Almost $15 trillion. There's never been anything like it. There's never been anything even close. The stock market's at an all-time high. Jobs are at an all-time high. Everything's at an all-time high, and we're going to keep it that way. We have the greatest country in the world, and we're back. We're back like nobody thought possible this quickly. I thought it would take maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe even 3. And we did it in less than 6 months. We are back and strong. We've restored American strength and deterrence on the world stage. We're respected again. The world is respecting us again. When we did NATO, those leaders came up to me and they said, you know what, we're going to go to a new level of spending because you're requesting it, sir. They didn't talk to you last president like that, I can tell you. They didn't spend any money. They didn't spend anything. In a few moments, we're going to make official the greatest victory yet when I signed the one big, beautiful bill. And before I start, I want to tell you that I've never seen people so happy in our country because of that, because so many different groups of people are being taken care of, the military and civilians of all types, jobs of all types. We're adding things like the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, child tax credits. So many things are being added that we wouldn't even have time to discuss them. When we were doing it, John Thune and Mike Johnson right there. I see Mike. What a job they've done. What a job they've done. But you know, it was supposed to be in 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 different bills. And I was on one of the fake news shows and I said, let's do it in one beautiful, big, we want one big, beautiful bill. I said that to this newscaster. And I think a lot of the congressmen and senators were watching, and they said, let's name the bill that, the one big, beautiful bill. And that's what we did. And what we've done is put everything into one bill. It's never happened before. It's the biggest bill of its type in history. We've never had anything like that before. Nothing like that they thought would be possible to get passed. And actually, I liked it because we had so much in there that no matter who you are, there was something in that bill that would make your congressman or your senator or your congresswoman, much more importantly, raise their hand and support, right, Lisa? So that was something, and it was really something special. So the American people gave us a historic mandate in November. We won everything. We won the swing states, all 7 swing states. We won every one. That rarely happens. We won the popular vote. We won the districts, 2,750 to 505. That's why when you look at a map, it's all red, a little blue on each end, but it's all red. And by the way, red means Republican, just in case. But we made promises, and it's really promises made, promises kept, and we've kept them. This is a triumph of democracy on the birthday of democracy. And I have to say that the people are happy. They're happy. And I listened to a broadcast and I read a couple of articles. They have the Democrats, they should have voted for it. They didn't vote for tax cuts. They didn't vote for taking care of people. They didn't vote, not one vote. And we knew that because their hatred of either the country or me or both is so great. They didn't vote at all, and it's terrible. But I just have to say, they have a routine. It's terrible, they say. Terrible, terrible. You saw that guy standing up for hours yesterday. He didn't know what he was even doing there.
King Jeffries.
I say, once he's sitting down, he had a towel. He's wiping his face. That's not too elegant.
Get
But
down
what
on his
is
knees.
I said, what is he doing for so long? And he couldn't criticize the bill. He was criticizing everyone else and everything else. So they've developed, and this is according to the news media, they've developed a standard line, and we can't let them get away with it. Oh, it's dangerous. Oh, everybody's going to die. It's actually just the opposite. Everybody's going to live. This is just the opposite. And I just want you to know, if you see anything negative put out by Democrats, it's all a con job. And they said, and they compared it to just like the con job of Russia, 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 and all of the other things they did. The 51 intelligence agents said, and the laptop from hell, it came from Russia. They said, no, it didn't come. A lot of things come from Russia. That didn't come from Russia. And it was all proven out to be a fake job. And that's what they're doing with this. So we just have to look forward, fellas, look forward and just say what it is, because it's the most popular bill ever signed in the history of our country. Whether you're military or anybody else, this is the most popular bill ever signed. And it includes the largest tax cut in American history, the largest spending cut, $1.7 trillion. And yet you won't even notice it. Just waste, fraud, and abuse in American history. So you have the biggest tax cut, the biggest spending cut, the largest border security investment in American history. We want to have strong borders. And the only thing is, we want to have great elections too. You need strong borders and elections. And my people have promised me that we're going to go into elections and we're going to make sure they're not rigged, that they're not sullied. We're going to make sure that the elections are going to be fair. You need two things. You need strong borders and you need fair elections.
Yeah, because from what I understand, with what they're doing with elections now, like, of course, you have to have the voter ID and everything, but also with the ballots, they're going to be checking Social Security numbers on your IDs. So therefore, if your Social Security number is flagged, you will be ineligible to vote. You'll have to clear that up. So you better check now, just in case somebody else is using your Social Security number and you don't know about it. Yeah, you might want to check, because if you notice, a lot of these cybersecurity platforms, all right, I'm starting to see like a flood of commercials from them, like all over, be it Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all right, even commercials, because, you know, some programs on Amazon Prime, you can't skip the commercials. You're seeing all of these cybersecurity security services. You've got people on here that do their videos like I do or whatnot, and they're pushing this stuff out there because you really need to lock it down now that they're, understand back when Elon was still at Doge, they killed off all the social security numbers of people that were 120 years old and older that were collecting checks. They killed those social security numbers. And we're talking about millions of social security numbers. So where are these people who are illegals? Where are they going to get fresh social security numbers from? They arrested a guy in the social security department. They charged him. He sold about 400,000 social security numbers. He was selling them to illegals. Well, probably through the cartel, but 400,000 social security numbers. Remember, they were barricading the door. They didn't want the Doge team coming in there. They had to get the Capitol Police to kick down the barricades and whatnot. Yeah, that guy's in prison. Well, he's not in prison yet. But yeah, he was charged. He was charged with fraud. I mean, serious felonious fraud. So they're going to have to get these new social security numbers from somewhere. And of course, identity theft is easy. Hackers do it all the time. But also what Trump has also done, what they also signed in the law or trying to get it done, is that if you are an illegal, you're not going to be counted as part of the census. Because do understand the reason why the Democrats are fighting so hard to keep them in the country, even the criminal ones, because they feel that every vote counts, every body counts. Alligator Alcatraz is not in a Democratic district. It's mainly, it borders between the two, but the bulk of it borders in a Republican district. Therefore, if they were to count the people that were in there on the census, which will be hard to do because they're there before they get flown off to God knows where. That's just a holding center. They're not supposed to be there for months on end. Like, you're there for maybe a week before they get rid of you, before you're on a flight. Yeah, but so if they call themselves trying to count that, well, what? That's a continuous fluctuating area, and it's a Republican area. So therefore, if you were to count it as a seat in Congress, it would go to another Republican head. Because the purpose of what they were trying to do, the Democrats were trying to seize power and then weaken the country to where you got like this guy in New York, the Mamdani now. Do understand, Democrats, they are now seeing communism, socialism / communism as the new strategy, the new way to go, because there are other options. This is what they were trying to do anyway, but now they're definitely stuck. So they're fighting to keep the illegals here. So therefore, come time for the primaries, they get, when the census come out or whatnot, they get more seats in the House. No, the worst thing you ever tried power. Day one, he's been attacking the Democrat stronghold, their power base. Oh, so your power base is stealing tax dollars, funneling U.S. tax dollars into your slush funds accounts through USAID? Gone. Board of Education, you've been doing that? Gone. Social Security? Gone. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, sued, money stricken. PBS, NPR, Politico, all your little media outlets that you've been paying under the table to run your little propaganda, money gone. CNN can barely keep the lights on. MSNBC has been up for sale for months. CBS Paramount up for sale. They just had to settle with Trump. I think they decided to settle with, like, he was suing them for $20 billion. I think they settled for like $20 million or something like that, just so they can push the sale through. Trump is like, fine, I'll take it. You're gonna sell the network? Good. But had the president of CBS talking about, this is an attack on free speech. Your speech is not free if you're getting paid for it. You're getting paid by a political party to say what you want them, what they want you to say. Then I'm sorry, there's no such thing as free speech coming out of your mouth. You are a paid political pundit. You will not be funded with taxpayer money to lie to the American public. Game is over. Game is over. The last stronghold that they have is TikTok. That's their last stronghold. TikTok is still a heavy liberal website. Facebook, Meta, really, all their platforms, oh my God, you can loosen up on their platforms. You can be as foul and as vulgar and as free speechy as you want to be. They only flag certain things. They flag violent speech. Any other than that, you can be free as a bird. Twitter is pretty much the same way. You can be free as a bird, but do understand they still do clamp down on slurs. They've changed that. They've clamped down on racial slurs, and they definitely clamped down on violent speech. You get a ban for that. Go ahead, ask me how I know. You can't tell somebody you'll slap the F out of them on Twitter. You'll be in the brig for a good 24 hours to a week. But yeah, so you strip them of their census status. And therefore the Democrats, they just lose a lot of seats. Everything. Why do you think the big push right now is out in California? You saw that little raid that they did at that park. I mean, there was really nothing to really raid, but it was pretty much a show of force to let the people of California, or the illegals of California, to let them know that even though Karen Bass is showing up here talking, I told them to stop, go away. And you had one of the directors of Homeland Security is like, I don't work for you. Like, if anything, we're going to ramp it up. You don't tell us what to do. Communist Karen, you don't tell us what to do. Yeah, they're going to clean California out. They're going to clean California out, specifically LA. Then they'll probably hit Chicago, then New York, and then Boston. And you can call yourself trying to run from city to city to city. Just like that one sheriff in Florida said, like, you'll go to jail tired because we'll run you down. Let's get back to this. I'm sorry.
Now we're going to make sure on the elections also, and our armed forces are one of the most vital military modernizations of all time. It will take place. So we rebuilt our military in our first term, and now we're going to modernize and remodernize our military, including building a great golden dome all over our land, so that if they get nasty with us, it's going to be knocked down. It's going to make any of the golden domes, they call them the Iron Domes, we're calling ours the Golden Dome, because we did the Iron Domes, and we do sort of everything, if you want to know the truth, but this blows it away. We're going to keep you safe. I want to thank every member of the House and Senate who worked to get this bill on my desk, and many of them are here, and I'm not going to mention all their names because we'll be standing here, but I have to mention a few, and especially I want to thank Vice President J.D. Vance, who's been fantastic.
He signed the tiebreaker.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's been incredible. We have somebody that it was a passion I think he actually loved it. It wasn't easy, but he loved it. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who's right here. Speaker, thank you very much. What a job, and he worked so closely with the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, who's a fantastic guy. And those two are a team that is not going to be beat. When you look at them and you look at their counterparts on the other side, it's not even close. I want to thank both of you people for doing an incredible job. Thank you very much, John and Mike. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, a brave man. Steve, you know, he suffered a tragedy a number of years ago. I was at his hospital bedside that night with Melania, with our First Lady, and he had no chance. The doctor said he has very little chance, and you look better today than you did then. You didn't look particularly good that night, I will say. But I learned one thing. His beautiful wife loved him. She was a disaster, right? I told him, I said, Steve, I can only tell you one thing. I was with your family and I was with your wife, and your wife was devastated. She loves you. I've seen a lot of wives that, you know, they don't seem to be so concerned in those situations. That's the kind of wife you don't want. But you have a great, beautiful wife who was really there, and you really have done. You're a very brave guy, and Mike and John and everybody that's standing with you knows it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. House Majority Whip, this is a guy who is great. When I have a problem, I call him up, and he gets it done. He's a tough cookie. I don't know why he's not the governor of Minnesota. He comes from Minnesota. He's like, look, he goes, no, I don't want to run for governor. You know, come to think of it, I think that's a good idea. You would win so easily. The guy is terrible. You would win. You just have to take a look at that handsome face of yours, and you'd win. Tom Emmer, everybody. He did a great job. I think you should consider that, although we don't want to lose him, do we? We don't want to. Let's say we are. I think say we are. What a job you did. And Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, who's incredible. Senate Finance Chairman Mike Crapo. Thank you, Mike. What a job. What a job. He knows that tax stuff. Him and Jason, they really know their stuff. Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham. What a good man he is. I see a poll. He's running, and I see a poll. He's 24 points up. That's not bad, Lindsey. That's not bad. 24 points up in the great state of South Carolina. House Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith. What a job. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. These people are great. These are great patriots. I have to call them out. House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington. Jody, thank you very much. Jody has been good right from the beginning, and so many others, and they're all here, and they fully understand. They'll never speak to me again, but that's okay. It is what it is. But I just want to thank everybody. A lot of senators here, a lot of congressmen and women here. Lisa, thank you very much, by the way. I have to thank you. Thank you very much. You've been fantastic. So this bill will fuel massive economic growth and lift up the hardworking citizens who make this country run. The factory workers, farmers, mechanics, waiters, waitresses, police officers, firefighters, coal miners. Coal is back. Beautiful. I said you can't use the word coal unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful coal. China's right now building 68 coal generating plants, and we're putting up wind. It doesn't work, I will tell you. Aside from ruining our fields and our valleys and killing all the birds and being very weak and very expensive, all made in China. You know, I noticed something, that with all of the windmills that China sends us, where we waste our money because it's the most expensive energy, I see that, they make about 95% of them, the wind turbines. I have never seen a wind farm in China. Why is that? Somebody check that out. Tom Emmer, would you please check that out? But all the coal miners we love and the truck drivers, in this act, we have officially made the Trump tax cuts permanent. That's the largest tax cut in the history of our country, added to substantial other cuts, which is you're going to see like a rocket ship. We're setting all sorts of economic records right now, and that's before this kicks in. After this kicks in, our country is going to be a rocket ship economically, and we've delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Which is ridiculous.
And that's why when you hear things like that, this is the most it's the biggest bill of its kind ever done by far. But it's we are going to have a situation. We are going to have something where people are going to realize the level of success and popularity of this bill. And sort of to close it out, it makes the child tax credit permanent for 40 million American families. And to increase the car affordability, it makes interest on a new car payment. So this had never happened before. You buy a car, you borrow money, you're allowed to deduct for income tax purposes your payment of interest. You're allowed to deduct it. It's never happened before. So run out and buy a car. But I have to tell you, it's only good, Mike, if it's made in America. If it's made in another country, you don't get it. And to protect two.
And I have to be honest, I'm looking at getting a new car. I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. I've been kicking the idea around for the past, 2 months? Yeah.
2 million family farms and other small businesses. We're eliminating the estate tax or the death tax. So if you want to leave your farm or your small business, but the farms are really, they have been devastated, to your children, if you love your children. By the way, if you don't love your children, don't even listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. But if you love, would you live? Yes, I think you love your child. This one loves Barron. So I don't know if we're a small business. I think we're not. I'm not sure that we qualify. I'm sorry, darling. But it was devastating. Farmers, they had to go out and borrow money. And by the way, is that Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi, raise your hand. Thank you, Pam, for being here. Attorney General, she's done an incredible job.
Don't get me
So there
started.
won't be any, think of this, there won't be any death tax. You're not going to have to go borrow money. Your parents pass away and the farm goes into the bank's hands and gets foreclosed. That's not going to happen. And with 100% expensing for new investments, we're cutting taxes for every manufacturer who builds, expands, and we have of factories, including car plants and AI. It's coming into our country at levels that we've never seen. And to conclude, not only will we have the strongest economy on earth, we're also going to have the strongest borders on earth. And last month, did you see the number? 0 people crossed our border. 0 illegal people. And that's after Joe Biden let 21 million people, many of them people from gangs and prisons and drug lords and people that were mentally unbalanced. They let them into our country. We're getting them out at record numbers, and we have an obligation to, and we're doing it. So as we approach the 250th anniversary of America's founding exactly 1 year from now, we are creating an economy that delivers wealth for the middle class, a border that is sovereign and secure, and a military that is unmatched, unequaled anywhere in the world. And you saw that. And what a beautiful sight that was, especially after watching what they did just a short while ago. The golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. It's going to be a period of time, the likes of which I don't think this country has ever experienced before. We're going to make America great again, and it's happening very fast. We love you. We thank you for being here. Enjoy the fireworks tonight. And First Lady, I want to thank you. You have been unbelievable. You think it's easy being First Lady? It's not.
Which reminds me, to close out my California point, you get rid of all of the illegals in California. And do understand, during this presidential election, a lot of counties were red. They voted red. But they were overwhelmed by the amount of illegals that were voting in the presidential election that voted blue. So you clear those people out. Not only do you lose a lot of seats in the House coming out of California for the Democrats, but it also weakens their electoral college vote. So California won't help equal an automatic win for a Democratic candidate. You don't automatically get that. And as far as like what he was saying about illegals, check this out. I wanted to show y'all this. Check this out. This was, as it says here, would-be kidnapper grabs 6-year-old boy off Coney Island Street, but lets him go after the child's parents chase him down. A 36-year-old man tried. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Okay. I really do need to go in the dark mode on this, don't I? Yeah. 36-year-old man tried to snatch a young boy who had fallen slight behind his parents. A witness said the child screamed for his mom as the man grabbed him. The suspect dropped the boy and ran when the parents rushed toward him. Both parents chased him into traffic before police nearby caught and arrested him. Charges were still pending as of Monday morning. Check this out. Y'all see that? Make sure y'all see that. That volume? Okay. Yeah, foreigner.
Oh my God! There was a little boy walking with his mother and his father, and he was, falling behind. So a man came and he was trying to cut him off. And then the little boy was trying to spin off on him. So the man just grabbed him up and started running with the little boy. And then the parents turned and started chasing him. As soon as the parents caught up to the man, that's when the man just threw the little boy, and the parents just chased after the guy, and they caught him.
Say it again.
What the fuck? Oh.
Little rapist maggot. Little rapist foreigner maggot. Got the nerve to be wearing a fez on his head. Little rapist maggot. You think they not harming black children? But you out here clapping for them, trying to protect them? That's what you're trying to protect? And here's a maggot talking all that racism crap.
I'm going to say it because y'all scary as fuck. And
Of course, she got this trash in her face.
I don't give a damn.
So you know she's a check collector.
Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck. And I said no.
So you saying the water is racist?
No.
The weather is racist?
YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck, and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the fuck you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay.
You can go with them. This is the thing that kills me about all of this. Kidnapped and disappeared. Excuse me. This is not Nazi Germany. These people aren't being put on a train to go and take a quote unquote shower, the last shower that they'll ever take in their lives. That's not what's happening here. They're being sent back to their home countries because they shouldn't be here. Plain and simple. And their families can self-deport with them. That's why you've got the app where you can book your own flight at taxpayers' expense. And they give you $1,000 to set up in whatever little third world shithole you came from. Because you're not going to make it here. They just kicked you or passed the bill to kick you off Medicaid. How do you think they're going to kick you off Medicaid? How do you think they're going to kick you off Medicaid? They're going to kick you off Medicaid through your social security number that you've stolen by killing the social security number that you've stolen. I repeat, when the day after Elon left, the Supreme Court granted Doge access, more than read access into Social Security. It also took away your welfare check and your benefits, your Section 8. Because I guarantee you, you look like the single mom living off the government's teat while sitting up here screaming about racism and white supremacy and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, you sucking on Zaddy's titty. I guarantee it.
Okay with that. Be okay
You sound ridiculous,
with not
woman.
finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again.
Be okay with being
That
homeless.
same energy, because I'm here for it.
I bet you
I am
are.
so here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been reading the comments and the shit y'all be saying.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't give a fuck when it was brown people.
Mm-hmm.
We sorry that it's white people now, but
Mm-hmm.
that's going to happen. This is going to be a repetitive cycle going to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's called it's called a tornado. It's called a flood that happens in the southern parts of the United States every year. Every year. And every year it kills people. Every year it kills people. From Texas to Florida to North Carolina. Every year. You're not saying anything special.
Racism cost y'all more than y'all thought.
Mm-hmm.
Racism wrote what's that line? Racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash.
Right. Yeah. Because because the weather is racist. The weather is racist, I guess. Hold on. But we watch them sign this bill. Let's get some giggle snorts in real quick.
So why license? What for?
Your license, registration.
Why are you calling me over?
I'm gonna take you to jail if you don't give me your license. Give me your license.
Why are you pulling me over?
I already told you. Give me your license.
Why are you pulling me over? Get off your bike.
Yeah.
Are you stupid or something? Huh?
Yeah, clearly.
All right.
Clearly.
Take it easy. Right here. Take it easy.
Or something.
It's a simple request. Your license. You understand me? I don't know what comes across people in America that think that they don't have to provide license during a traffic stop. You understand?
Yeah, like, boy, how many times you gotta tell you they don't play in Florida? They do not mess around in Florida. Here's the one. This chick right here. This little black chick right here. Yeah, when I tell you that, your little racist post will cost you everything.
She will be remembered for this comment for the rest of her life. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, there is a creator on here called Sadie's World who decided to make a video yesterday claiming that the children who passed during the tragic event at Camp Mystic yesterday deserved to go because they were at a camp that was meant for all white, alt-right, conservative Christians whose family voted for Donald Trump. Children. These were children. Yes, obviously some adults did pass, very unfortunately, in this situation, but she was specifically referring to the children that were unalived.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls Christian camp.
It's not a whites only.
They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all...
Posting have been absolutely diabolical. Not only has she doubled down on what she stated, but she's proud of what she stated.
Well, she's since privatized her page and deleted the videos, but it's too late.
And she's fighting up against anybody who says otherwise. And just a little clarification here, Camp Mystic is not for all white people. Nowhere on their website says anything about this being dedicated for only one race. But yes, it is a little girls' camp, and yes, it is a Christian camp. It also says nothing about only accepting families who voted for Donald Trump. And she's been going back and forth with a couple of creators. And in one of those creators' pages, she left this comment right here where they were calling her out, saying that she should reap the consequences of what she's stating. And she said, consequences for what? Laughing, laughing, laughing. Maybe it was God's will to wash them lil away.
See you next Tuesday.
Let me remind you, she's talking about little kids, referring to them as a see you next Tuesday, and claiming that it was God's will for them to be swept away and drowned. And you know what's even more crazy in all of this? She's married to a pastor here in Houston, a white pastor. I am just sickened by this from every which angle.
The Ilhan Omar
that she
type.
even stated any of this to begin with. That she was even trying to make this a racial issue, but then also trying to make this a political issue, and then tripling down. And then also being married to somebody who is a pastor. I'm sickened. I'm disheartened for the family. And I am so glad that she's having to reap these consequences. Somebody's already gone out. Apparently she's already lost her job. And I'm never one typically for cancel culture. But in this situation, I hope that she is remembered for that comment for the rest of her life. And I hope that she is remembered for those videos for the rest of her life, because that is unforgivable from all sides and from all standards. It is disgusting where this world has come to, and it is even more disgusting that people like that exist in this world.
It is what it is. I mean, I've been saying for a minute that black women are the new racists. The WNBA is a prime example. You look at the WNBA is the prime example of black society, black female society. It's a prime example. It's not all of them, but the most disgusting of them, the most vicious of them, the most talentless of them, the most vile of them make the most noise. And they make the collective that act like them, dress like them, talk like them, move like them. It makes all of them look bad. Stereotypes exist for a reason, and they're fitting the mold. They're forcing themselves to be that stereotype.
Thank you all very much. Happy 4th of July. God bless you all. Thank you very much, everybody.
Let's go sign that bill.
We're going to sign the bill.
Let me go back now.
The kid, Mom, can we go back now? That's hilarious. Yeah, he being careful on them steps. He does not want a Joe Biden moment. That's the last thing you want. Is to see Trump fall down up some stairs, boy. He would never live that down. He'd probably make a joke of it, but he would never live that down. Mike Johnson wearing the toupee. I can't tell. To be honest, I don't even really care. You know, I still haven't seen Tulsi Gabbard ever since Trump said he didn't give a damn what she thought. She has been MIA. Woo, she's been MIA.
President, this is the gavel we use to enact the big, beautiful bill, and I want you to have that.
Are we ready?
Gavel is in.
Are we ready? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pass out presidential pins. Everybody gets a pin. The actual pin will probably wind up in the Smithsonian or something, or the Presidential Museum or Library.
And we have some more. We'll give you some more. You know, a great first lady. Congratulations. I'll let you know the guy. I don't know. Honey, now you gotta go in with the gavel.
Very trusting.
Give that guy a raise. Give that guy a raise.
Thank you very much, everybody. And I want to thank the people up here. They're unbelievable people. Mary, hi, Mary. How's Scott doing? Good job? Scott, how's the economy? Okay?
Wonderful.
Yes, Scott Besson.
It's been amazing. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. Happy 4th of July.
He had to curse out or put Laura Ingraham in her place, Scott Besson. I wanted to cover that, but where we at on time? 1 minute. All right, so next up is my girl. That's why she's in the thumbnail.
Good afternoon, everyone.
What you got to say?
Hope you all had a great weekend. I want to start by addressing the devastation from the tragic flash floods in Texas. Moments ago, the Department of Homeland Security provided an update that 91 innocent souls have now perished. Everyone here at the White House, including the President of the United States, is praying for the victims' families and friends during this unimaginable time.
I think before she gets started, because I'm catching up on the news. I'm trying to stay in touch. One of the stories that I heard that really it was two stories, but one, the girl survived. She was in the camp that got swept away that they was talking about. And she said when the water was getting too high, she put her name tag on. So in case she didn't make it, people would know who she was. So she put her name tag on. They had her full name. She put her name tag on, but luckily she survived. And I think the story that really got me was the dude, he was in the house with his wife, I think his wife, his kids, and his mother. And the water was getting real high. And it got to the point, I think it was like to the second story of the house. And he broke out the window. And unfortunately, he almost sliced his arm off because of the glass. But he helped him to get up on the roof. He was up on the roof and he was, they calling 911. Of course, everybody's calling 911. But he bled out. But before he passed away, he let his wife and his mom know, like, hey, just so you know, I'm sorry, excuse me, the kombucha. He was like, just so you know, like, I love you guys, take care of the kids, tell them I love them. And, he bled out. He died on the roof. And then, like, they wound up getting off the roof with his body because the water got so high, he got swept away. They found his body, but, I mean, he died a hero, saving his family. Everybody, of course, how they put the camera in everybody's face, the neighbor's face. They love the guy. It is what it is. Hopefully if you ever go out like that, if you ever go out being a hero, hopefully people have good things, wonderful things to say about you with tears in their eyes. The last thing you want is for them to put the camera in your mama's face and, he the fourth son that died on me, past 2 years with no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing, It's the last thing you want.
President Trump swiftly signed a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, Texas, to ensure our heroic first responders have every resource they need in the relief and recovery efforts. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem traveled to Texas over the weekend, and the entire Trump administration is working hand in glove with state and local officials to provide every assistance available. The situation on the ground remains dangerous, and there could be additional public safety threats with potential incoming heavy rain. So we encourage everyone in the area to remain vigilant, listen to all warnings, and respond accordingly. Unfortunately, in the wake of this once-in-a-generation natural disaster, We have seen many falsehoods pushed by Democrats such as Senator Chuck Schumer and some members of the media. Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved lie, and it serves no purpose during this time of national mourning. Here are the facts. In the lead up to this tragic natural disaster, the National Weather Service did its job. Despite unprecedented rainfall, the National Weather Service executed timely and precise forecasts and warnings. On July 3rd, the National Weather Service office in Austin, San Antonio, Texas, conducted forecast briefings for emergency management in the morning and issued a flood watch in the early afternoon. Flash flood warnings were also issued on the night of July 3rd and in the early morning of July 4th, giving preliminary lead times of more than 3 hours before flash flooding conditions occurred. And the National Weather Service office in New Braunfels, which delivers forecasts for Austin, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas,
That's why I call it
had
a sniper.
extra staff on duty during the storms.
That's why I
despite
call it a
claims to the
sniper.
contrary.
She a
So to
sniper.
any person who has deliberately lied about these facts surrounding this catastrophic event, you should be deeply ashamed. At this time, the administration's focus will be giving the victims and their communities the support they deserve during these recovery efforts in this tragic time. May God bless the great people of Texas, especially the parents who have lost their children. President Trump loves you. We are praying for you, and he will be traveling to see you later this week. Moving along to some further scheduling announcements. Tonight, President Trump will host the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, for dinner, where they will discuss the positive developments taking place in the Middle East region. Tomorrow, the president will host his 6th cabinet meeting of his 2nd term. Many of you will be invited to cover that. And on Wednesday, the president will host leaders from 5 African nations for lunch in the state dining room. In other news, after the historic signing on the South Lawn...
Wait, stop. You know what that is. The African leaders coming to the White House. That's minerals deals, baby. That's mineral deals, baby. I told y'all. America is getting back into Africa. The Chinese kicked them out. Trump is getting America back into Africa. Except this time, instead of going in there trying to force homosexuality and dictatorship on them, they're going in there with diplomacy like Russia did. Hey, look, we'll split the profits. We'll build up your infrastructure. We got you. This time we're going to do it right. We're not going to go in, with our stick swinging. We're not going to come in there swinging the big stick. We're going to come in there, come in there with paperwork. Let's sign the deal. 50-50 split. We'll do the digging. We'll hire your people. We'll help build up your infrastructure. We'll build up your nations to where they should be. We'll try to make you guys be crime-free and prosperous. Which is how, in all honesty, this is what the Democrats should be pushing for. A rising tide lifts all boats, right? Right? Well, here, we got some water for your pond. Your little pond is drying up. We can even bring you some fish. But let's get you back robust and plentiful again, so to speak. It's the whole purpose of it. Get back into Africa. South Africa need to clean up their political situation. I was watching a video this weekend. They were talking about South Africa and the financial struggles that they're starting to have. That whole BRICS situation going on with them, starting not to work out. Yeah, it's getting a little rough there financially in South Africa. Why they want to kill the farmers and take over the land. Because that's one of the biggest things they got going for them. That is the perfect money generating avenue is the farmland. And people have to eat. But their mineral deals and all of that stuff, yeah, Russia, China, Brazil, whatnot, they're not necessarily helping them out too much. They're not helping them out too much. I can't wait till America gets into Haiti so people can shut the F up. But yeah, they're getting into Africa now. They're getting back into Africa. Let's go.
Of the White House on the 4th of July, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill is now the law of the land. Republicans in Congress met the once-in-a-generation moment and codified the Make America Great Again agenda in...
Hold on. What you asked me about? What are these experience points about? What are you talking about? Is there something that I'm not seeing in StreamYard that you guys are seeing on YouTube? I have to take a look.
To law. After this monumental achievement, no other president in modern history has worked harder and faster to fulfill their campaign promises than Donald Trump. The One Big Beautiful Bill will get the United States of America firing again on all cylinders. It's safe to say that over the past few weeks, the president has delivered on many, many wins. For the 4th month in a row, jobs numbers beat market expectations with nearly 150,000 good jobs created in the month of June. The American economy has now added nearly 700,000 jobs since January 2025, with American-born workers accounting for all job gains. President Trump drove illegal border crossings to another historic low in the month of June, and Border Patrol once again released 0 illegal aliens into our country. The Supreme Court stopped activist judges from imposing nationwide injunctions and cleared the way for President Trump to carry out his popular and common sense agenda. The University of Pennsylvania agreed to all of the Trump administration's demands and will now keep men out of women's sports.
All right, hold on. Is this what you're talking about? Are you talking about this right here with this crown and the purple? I have no idea. This is all new. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? This is new to me. You know, I mean, hey, they're trying to improve the platform. What can I say? I'm not mad at it. Let's get on.
President Trump secured his trade deal with Vietnam, giving the United States total access to their markets. Because of President Trump's unleashing American energy dominance, gas prices are at 4-year lows. And when adjusted for inflation, gas prices are near the lowest levels we've seen in the last 20 years. NATO members agreed to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP, a foreign policy feat long thought impossible until President Trump made it happen. The Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities, taking out this imminent national security threat, not just to the United States, but to the entire world. The president secured a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending the 12-day war. The president brokered a historic peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Pakistan nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his decisive diplomatic intervention to prevent a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. Blue-collar wage growth has seen its largest increase in nearly 60 years, and President Trump has defeated Joe Biden's inflation crisis with core inflation at the lowest level since March of 2021.
On one, take a gas.
And just about all of that has happened in the last 3 weeks, and I know you all know it because you've been very busy here covering it along with us. So with that, I will take your questions today as we kick off another very busy week here at the White House. We'll lead with our new media seat, Brian Glenn, who is, of course, very present in this briefing room. He's put in a lot of hours covering this president, so we're glad you finally have a seat today. Brian, go ahead.
It feels great to sit down. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to go back to the hurricane. You said...
All right, hold on. Sorry, so let's see what we got in the room. I know I'm running out of time because I want to try to keep this under 2 hours. So, okay, you got the black chick that asked that stupid question. Can't even remember a question. It was so stupid. All right, so here's y'all California cutie. She's sitting down over here. All right, she finally took her a seat. All right, so you got okay, so let's see. You got a black chick here. I think this might be Caitlin Collins. Katie Rue was the old dude call her. Of course, you got what's his name? Steve, what's the face? Steve Busey. All right, yeah. He's always there, right there. That's his spot. So, all right, so you got a black cameraman here, black chick here. Okay, black chick there. Because, you know, y'all like to do the color count. Let's see here. Black chick right here. Let's see here. I think, yeah, that's the black dude right there. Looks like he got a horrible tan. Let's see. I'm not sure about this guy. I know that's a brother. You can definitely tell by his hair. You know, a little light skin or brown skin brother. This might be a brother right here based on the hairdo, the hair. And That's it. Let's go.
President Trump is scheduled to go to Texas later this week. Can you speculate on what day and what he has plans?
Sure. The White House is currently arranging those travel plans. We hope that it will be later this week, likely on Friday, but of course we want to do it at the most appropriate time on the ground for state and local officials. We don't want to interrupt the recovery efforts, but we're planning tentatively for a Friday trip, and when that becomes final, we'll let all of you know, as we always do.
And you gave a little bit of reaction earlier, but the National Weather Service, the union, actually publicly stated they had an adequate staff on hand to forecast and predict the storm. You shared your thoughts earlier on how the way the left has really weaponized this to blame the deaths in Texas on Trump. Want to comment on that again?
Yeah, I just do think those comments are depraved and despicable, especially when so many Americans are mourning the loss of their children. The National Weather Service, as I said, did its job. Many experts, many meteorologists have said that. Many of you in the media, in all fairness, have said that as well. Unfortunately, not all. And many Democrat elected officials are trying to turn this into a political game, and it is not. This is a national tragedy, and the administration is treating it as such. We know the National Weather Service provided early and consistent warnings. They gave out timely flash flood alerts. There were record-breaking lead times in the lead up to this catastrophe. There is ongoing flood monitoring, and these offices were well staffed. In fact, one of the offices was actually overstaffed. They had more people than they need. So any claim to the contrary is completely false, and it's just sad that people are pushing these lies.
Can you just get one more?
Yeah, they did the same thing, but remember they did that. The Democrats did that to North Carolina. They let them people sit out there for a week or so. They had FEMA steady blocking people they blocked the one guy from saving people. I think he had like a helicopter or a plane. They tried to block him from saving folks. They blocked people from trying to bring food and water and clothing to those folks. And then Kamala Harris gonna go up there to some $750. But the only way you could get the $750 is if the insurance company accepted your claim. Meanwhile, you got people who are trapped because of the landslides, the mudslides and everything. They couldn't get out of their areas. They were trapped. They didn't send in not one bulldozer or backhoe or anything to dig those people out of there. Talking about some $750. The people that were trapped in there, they didn't have any electricity, so they didn't hear a word she was saying. They had no idea. They left those people to die. Same thing that they tried to pull in Florida. Except Ron DeSantis, no matter what you say about him, that dude is a damn good governor. I mean, he got Mickey Mouse scared as hell of him. That's a damn good governor. You don't see all that rioting and protesting and all that violent stuff going on in Florida. Alcatraz, where is it? Yeah, Florida. Yeah, you're not walking up in here on a surprise visit. We dare you to try to rush through the gates. We're not New Jersey. Graveyard dead. Did you not hear it, that guy? Graveyard dead. You'll go to the hospital, then go to jail. We'll chase you down. You'll go to jail tired. They do not play in Florida. Yeah, but they were able to take care of themselves. Look at Katrina. You know, back when it happened in New Orleans. Although that was on George Bush's watch, but he was a weak president. But over Biden's administration, man, they left people hung. They hung people out to dry because they're a red state. Like, are you serious? You're the president of everybody, not the president of Democrats. But, you know, he wasn't in charge, so.
Kind of a little bit of breaking news. The Department of Homeland Security is moving to end the TPS status on Honduran and Nicaraguan migrants.
Yes.
Any plans to adding additional countries that you could be targeting? Just a reaction.
Sure. Well, I won't get ahead of the Department of Homeland Security on additional countries, but as you pointed out, they did end temporary protective status for Nicaraguans and Hondurans in this country because TPS, temporary protective status, is temporary by definition. It is not meant to be a permanent path to residency or citizenship. here in the United States of America. It was originally granted to Nicaraguans following a natural disaster in 1999. That doesn't sound very temporary to me. And as well as Hondurans in 1999 after the impact of Hurricane Mitch in 1998. And so this administration is doing what it promised to do. And if individuals from these countries want to come here, they have a legal pathway to do it, but temporary protective status was never meant to be permanent. The previous administration abused this status and this parole program, essentially treating it as such, and we're not going to tolerate that any further. Thank you, Brian. Megan.
Secretary Bessent said yesterday that countries will boomerang back to the April 2nd tariff level starting August 1st. Why did the president decide to have those tariffs not take effect Wednesday as originally scheduled? And I was also wondering if you could share, obviously we saw the letters the president sent out on Japan and South Korea, but if any other major U.S. trading partners are getting letters today.
Sure, yes, I can confirm. In fact, I have those letters. If you could get me the folder with the letters in them, Liz, they're right in the previous office. I have the signed letters that went out to both South Korea and Japan today. And there will be approximately 12 other countries that will receive notifications and letters directly from the President of the United States. And weeks ago, I stood at this podium and I told all of you that the President was going to create tailor-made trade plans for each and every country on this planet. And that's what this administration continues to be focused on. The president will also sign an executive order today delaying the July 9th deadline to August 1st. So the reciprocal tariff rate or these new rates that will be provided in this correspondence to these foreign leaders will be going out the door within the next month, or deals will be made. And those countries continue to negotiate with the United States. We've seen a lot of positive developments in the right direction, but the administration, the president and his trade team want to cut the best deals for the American people and the American worker. That's what they're focused on. And in the effort of transparency, these letters will continue to be posted to Truth Social. So you can enjoy them yourself. Go ahead.
Which reminds me, so, you know, I buy the stock, I don't check on it, I forget all about it. Today I checked my stock, and I was noticing that my U.S. Steel stock was missing. I bought like 10 shares, about what? No, I take that back. No, I bought 4 shares. I bought 4 shares at like $42 and some change. I bought 10 shares of Nippon stock because it was cheaper. I think it was like at $20-something. So a share, $26 a share. That's Japanese steel. So I bought 10 shares of that, four shares of U.S. Steel. I bought the U.S. Steel stock first. And I noticed U.S. Steel was missing from my portfolio. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what happened? So, you know, did a little Googling. Come to find out, Nippon and U.S. Steel merged. They merged. So now it's Nippon Steel, Japanese Steel. It's one company now. So I'm like, well, you know, so I'm reading, I go back, I'm reading. And apparently what happened was, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, what happened to my money? The money I was making off the U.S. Steel. Because U.S. Steel, ever since they signed the deal with Trump in the White House back in February, it's been a profit. It's been turning the profit. The money was sitting right there in my portfolio, like $600 something. I was like, oh, okay. It turned a nice little profit, but yeah, it was sitting on $600 something, right? Just like that. I was like, okay. So got some shopping to do on stock. I turned that stock money, I turned it back in. I reinvest the dividends and everything. But yeah, so those of you who are in the market, in the investment market, yeah. Buy the steel, buy the Nippon Steel, the Japanese steel. Get it. 4 shares at $42 a pop. Netted me over $600 in investment capital. That's how much of a profit that I made. Y'all better hop on it, man. Y'all better get in on that.
Thanks, Caroline. Just about the visit of Prime Minister Netanyahu today, I was just wondering why that is not open to the press. Previous visits by him, we've had Oval Office press conferences. Does that reflect somehow the kind of sensitivity of this particular visit?
No, they're having a private dinner. There's many important matters that are obviously ongoing in the region, as you know. The utmost priority for the president right now in the Middle East is to end the war in Gaza and to return all of the hostages. Also, as you know, there was a ceasefire proposal that Israel supports that was sent to Hamas, and we hope that they will agree to this proposal. We want to see all of the hostages released. That's on the top of the president's mind, so that will be discussed, as well as the many other positive developments we've seen in the Middle East. I want to go back to the trade.
But here's the issue, though. Every time Israel called themselves trying to sign a peace deal with Hamas, they wind up taking out of the Hamas leader. The last time they went to sign a deal, I think it was last year or whatnot, they took out the Hamas leader, popped him in the street. Popped him in the street, which put a halt on everything before Trump came into office. I mean, sure, yes, you should be popping these people, but why don't you wait until you get the hostages back first? Then, then you go take care of business. Handle that business first. Get people out of there safely. Get the hostages out of there safely, whether they're alive or not. Get them out of there. Then go deal with those people. There's nowhere they can run or hide.
Deals, as you see, we have these beautiful letters that the president has signed. This one is to the president of the Republic of Korea, original signature on that, and these will be mailed. And then here we also have another letter to the Prime Minister of Japan as well. Both countries will be receiving a 25% tariff rate effective on August 1st. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. You said it, and the president said it many times. You want to see an end to the war in Gaza. Will he give guarantees during the 60-day period of ceasefire that actually the war will end? Because this is a sticking point with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I'm wondering if they see eye to eye on this point. And how do you see the next day? What the next day in Gaza will look like?
Look.
Okay, so that's not Karen. What's the name? Katie Collins. So, it looks like no stupid, retarded questions. Excuse the word of YouTube, because I know they don't like it, but no stupid questions coming out of this section. And I guess that's not a brother. All right. I'm just saying. Let's go.
Right now, the president is focused on today and to get the Hamas to agree to this ceasefire. I don't want to comment on the details of the arrangement out of respect for these negotiations, but a agreeable and appropriate ceasefire proposal has been sent to Hamas. And I can also tell you Special Envoy Witkoff intends to travel to Doha later this week, where he will continue to engage in these discussions. And the Qataris and the Egyptians have been incredibly helpful partners in mediating these negotiations and discussions to bring peace to this region and end this conflict once and for all.
Kristen, 2 questions. Thank you, Caroline. Sure. The first question is President Trump reconsidering his plan to phase out FEMA, given what officials have said is their critical role on the ground now in Texas?
Look, the president wants to ensure American citizens always have what they need during times of need. Whether that assistance comes from states or the federal government, that's a policy discussion that will continue. And the president has always said he wants states to do as much as they can, if not more. And in the case of Texas, the state and local officials are doing a tremendous job. And I know the president, Secretary Noem, and the federal government are very proud to be working with them. And the president has promised to give Texas the assistance that they need during this tragic time.
Just one follow-up on cuts overall. Over the weekend, President Trump said that Elon Musk was a train wreck. Are there, given this current viewpoint, are there concerns within the White House or from the president himself over the cuts that happened under Musk while he was advising DOGE, including the National Weather Service?
I think I've already addressed that, Kristen, and what I can tell you is that these offices were fully staffed The San Angelo office was fully staffed with 12 forecast meteorologists. There were no vacancies. The San Antonio office was operating with 11 forecasters. And as Brian said, the union themselves said that there was adequate staffing. So I think those words speak for themselves and the numbers speak for themselves. This was a once in a century flash flood, a tragic natural disaster, and the administration is doing all that we can on the ground to help these families during this time of need. Jeff.
Thanks very much, Caroline. Just following up on Kristen's question, is it still the president's plan to phase FEMA out by the end of this year?
God damn it!
Kristen's question for you.
One more, hold on, one more.
Sure, I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
The follow-up on trade as well. 12 more letters coming, you said. Can you give us a sense of which countries those are?
I'll let the president reveal those in very due time. Keep your eyes on Truth Social. Michael in the back.
Thank you, Caroline. An armed shooter today was shot in McAllen, Texas, after opening fire on Border Patrol agents. Comes just days after Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal recently said she gets, quote, inspired when activists obstruct ICE. So the White House expect Democrats to tone down their rhetoric in light of what we saw today in McAllen, Texas.
We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the United States Border Patrol. These are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do their job to enforce the law. They go home to their families every night, just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to remove from our communities. The White House is aware of the shooting that took place today in Texas, and we are working with the appropriate federal agencies to get to the bottom of what happened.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable. And I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the president's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Oh, that's BS. I'll put it to you like this. Like I said, they'll arrest people like me, you know, a henchman here, a henchman there, or whatever. I mean, like, just like the people that 106 people, Social Security fraud. Where are the mugshots? Where are the mugshots? All these members of Congress that you know are on some of these Epstein tapes or whatnot. You know they're on the Diddy tapes. You know they've been stealing taxpayer funds. Where are the handcuffs for these people? I hear a lot of mouth about investigations, but I don't see any arrests. Not at the levels, the higher levels. You sit up here and talk all that smack about the Democrats and their rhetoric. That Cynthia Gonzalez chick that called on gang members out in California to, you know, attack ICE. Y'all just went and had a cup of coffee with her, just like with James Comey when he put out 86 Trump. You invited him in for a cup of coffee and sent him on his way. But some low-level dude like that was like on my level, you know, somebody on social media, he put out a 86 Alina Habba and whatnot, and you know, y'all got him all hemmed up. You got him all hemmed up. You're hitting him all these charges. But James Comey gets a cup of coffee, man. I swear to God, I'm so sick of hearing about Pam Bondi and investigation this and investigation that. When I mean, good Lord, how many you gonna have 1 million people under investigation with 0 arrests?
Sure. Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at
Yeah,
what the
exactly.
Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox
I've
News.
got the quote.
Go
What did
ahead.
she
Roberts
say?
Said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was
What
saying the
happened?
entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the
Full of
paper in
shit.
relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her
No,
speak
she
for
wasn't.
that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and
Full
the
of
Department
shit.
of Justice, they are more than
Weakest
committed to
Attorney General
ensuring that
I've ever
bad
seen in
people
my
are
life.
put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same
Ms.
time
Brandt,
period last year. So
give me a
this
violin.
Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Thanks, Caroline. With Prime
Whatever.
Minister Netanyahu visiting the White House today, yesterday the president said that he was working on a more permanent deal with Iran, but several days ago he didn't think one was necessary. What changed?
Well, when you asked me about this, or when you all asked me about this several weeks ago, I said the president thought maybe an Iran deal was not necessary, but of course the president is always interested in peace and diplomacy. That remains true, and the administration continues to be in contact, both directly and indirectly, with the Iranians on a deal.
And then on tariffs, you're now delaying the deadline from July 9th to August 1st. Is that an acknowledgement that perhaps the administration found it more difficult to negotiate these trade deals, or whatever happened to 90 deals in 90 days?
No, it's an acknowledgement that this administration is doing what's best for the American worker, and we want the best deals possible for our workers, for our manufacturing base, for our middle class, and they are doing this deliberately and appropriately on behalf of our country's interests. Josh.
A couple more on the tariffs. You said about 12 more letters. There were about 55 or so countries, including the EU as a bloc, that were facing this tariff increase. All of those, to understand it correctly, are now deferred to August 1st, right?
Correct.
On the 12, what happens with the remaining, whatever it would be, 40
So
something?
just 12 today. There will be additional letters in the coming days.
So all of them are going to get a letter at some point.
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell me why he decided to start with South Korea and Japan? Are they annoying him?
It's the president's prerogative, and those are the countries he chose.
On the sectoral tariffs, it's our understanding that these continue to be a separate track. We're still waiting on a bunch of those.
That's
Can you
right.
give us any timing update on when he's going to move on, for instance, semiconductor tariffs and other things that are still in the hopper?
I don't have a
Bless
timing
you.
update, but for where they are in the process, I would defer you to the Department of Commerce.
We expect deals finally as well. He announced his Vietnam deal. Are you close on any other countries?
The president and the administration, yes, we are close. But again, the president wants to ensure these are the best deals possible. And I would add just one more thing on trade and tariffs to wrap it up. Look at the extensive work this president has put into cutting these good deals and doing what's right for the American worker. He is literally looking at the map and looking at every country on the planet and seeing where they are ripping off the American people, seeing where they have hollowed out our industrial base, seeing where our jobs have gone to other countries overseas because of their tariff policies. And he's trying to correct that. So this is decades of bad trade policy that has led to a deficit that is ravaging our country, that is ravaging our middle class. And the president is taking a very deliberate approach to correcting this wrong of many decades, of many past presidents. And so I think he should be commended for the time and the effort that he is putting into this. And the fact that he has announced a framework with China, a trade deal with the United Kingdom, a trade deal with Vietnam, and many others to come in just a matter of 6 months is truly historic. And it's a testament to this president and his trade team who are working around the clock to get this done.
These other countries are dragging their
Thank
feet.
you so much, Caroline. Two questions on Iran. What's the permanent deal with Iran looks like for the president, and what issues related to Iran should it cover? And secondly, has the president seen the interview with Iranian president, which he says that the United States president, Mr. Trump, is capable enough to guide the regions toward a peace and brighter future and put Israel in its place, or it gets more into conflict? Has the president seen these comments, and what's his reaction to these comments?
I'm not sure if he's seen those comments, but certainly I think it's true that the president is the right man for the job to move the direction, this region into the direction of peace and stability for the future. That's what he and his national security team are working on every day, and we've already seen historic achievements in that direction. Go ahead. In the back. Kelly, go ahead.
Great, thank
Sure.
you.
And then in front of you.
Couple questions for you. First, on
Y'all need name tag signs.
First question on the flooding in Texas. I know there has been some concern about the timing
Oh,
of the
here you
alerts, knowing that they did go out, but the warnings coming out in the wee hours. So while many people were likely sleeping, can you share just details what you know about why those warnings were sent while people were likely sleeping, and then what the administration is doing to ensure that these alerts come out sooner?
Well, the alerts imminently were sent out before the flood when people were sleeping because the flood hit in the very early hours of the morning. So people were sleeping in the middle of the night when this flood came. That was an act of God. It's not the administration's fault that the flood hit when it did. But there were early and consistent warnings. And again, the National Weather Service did its job. On July 2nd, there were initial notices of potential weather and flooding risks were issued. On July 3rd, escalating warnings throughout the day with a flood watch issued at 1:18 p.m. And then later at 6:10 p.m. on July 3rd, the Weather Prediction Center warned of excessive rainfall and a high likelihood of flash flooding. 6:22 p.m. July 3rd, National Weather Center issued a hydraulic warning, highlighting considerable flooding risks, including in Caryville County. And then there were the timely flash flood alerts at 11:41 p.m., 1:14 a.m., and then another flash flood emergency warning issued at 4:03 a.m. just before the flood hit. So those were all of the warnings that went out to the affected
We get storm
area.
warnings here in Georgia all the time. We ignore them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Caroline. Two questions for you related to the Prime Minister's visit
Yeah,
today.
you see that
Number
talk.
one, there's a report circulating that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation provided a proposal to the White House to build these so-called humanitarian transit areas inside and outside of Gaza. The GHF is insisting it has nothing to do with that proposal. Can you shed any light on whether the White House has received such a proposal, and if so, from whom?
I'm unaware if a proposal from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was sent to the White House. I haven't seen it, but I can ask our National Security Council.
And also a document circulating that the White House is prepared to lift the Foreign Terrorist Organization designation from HTS, the group of President al-Shara in Syria. Can you confirm that that's taking place?
Again, I haven't heard that, or I'm not aware of that action taking place. As you know, we did lift particular sanctions on Syria, but we did leave them on for particular terrorist groups. If that has changed, we will, of course, let you know if there's a change in policy, but I'm unaware of one at this time. Go ahead.
Me? Thank you. Ahead of
And then you can go too, since you're so eager.
ahead of the president's meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu today, is there a scenario where Israel has made it clear that they will not bring an end to this war until Hamas is decimated? And the president just 5 months ago suggested a potential takeover of Gaza. Is there a situation where tonight the two men will change their posture, and in the scenario that Hamas turns over the remaining hostages, that the war could come to a permanent end, and that they will seek that under that scenario that they would essentially try to bring this war to a permanent end beyond just that 60-day ceasefire?
Again, you're putting a hypothetical situation in the air, so I don't want to comment on that in out of respect for these ongoing negotiations and discussions that are taking place. But as for the takeover of Gaza, I don't believe the president ever said that. I think he discussed a rebuilding of Gaza once this war is over. This has become an uninhabitable place for human beings, and the president has a big heart. He wants this to be a prosperous, safe part of the region where people and families can thrive, and there will be a need for a real rebuilding effort when the time comes. But right now we need to end this war, and we need to bring all of the hostages home. The president is adamant about that.
The war tonight?
Look, again, I will let the president speak for himself later if he decides to comment on the details of the agreement, but out of respect for the discussions, I won't do that from the podium. Go ahead.
So Congressman Lawler and Gottheimer have introduced a bill in Congress, the Bunker Buster Act, that would allow the United States to sell B-2 bombers and bunker buster bombs to Israel. Is that something the president would support?
Well, I don't know if the president's aware of the Bunker Buster Act, but I will ask him and see what his opinion on that is. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. Building off of the question earlier about the shooter in Texas who targeted ICE, Axios reported today, I believe, that Democrat lawmakers were saying their constituents are calling on them to be more violent when they go to ICE facilities, including, I believe, they want them to shed blood, and that they said that Democrat lawmakers should be willing to get shot themselves. Can you respond to that? And
You see what
do
I'm
have
saying?
concerns that any of these lawmakers might act on the wishes of their constituents?
It's hard to believe anyone with morals in this country or decency would say such a thing. Obviously, the White House condemns that rhetoric, and we condemn violence of any kind. This administration is simply trying to enforce our laws, and we must be a nation of law and order. You cannot simply waltz across our border and live here illegally.
I would ask her, like, what Democratic lawmaker said that?
And the men and women who are doing that
Tell me their
doing so in a
names. Who
respectful
said
way. They are doing so within the confines of the law, and they are just trying to do their jobs. And we condemn any violence or any calls for violence of any kind against any American. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I wanted to ask you.
I was not calling on you, but you can go ahead. It's fine.
Weakness.
There's a lot of people in here today.
President Trump
Sure.
already saw the letter that the Colombian president Gustavo Petro sent him, apologizing for his comments a few weeks ago, suggesting that there was an involvement from the U.S. government in an alleged coup d'etat in Colombia. And Secretary Rubio recalled the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires in Colombia. Did President Trump saw that letter, and what do you think about the comments from President Petro suggesting that the U.S. has some kind of involvement in a coup?
I'm not sure if the president has seen that letter, but I can check with him in the National Security Council. We will get you a response if you follow up with my team. We will find out for you. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Iris, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Caroline. On two topics. First,
I love how
tariffs.
excited everyone is on Monday. Yes, Raquel, you can go after.
On two topics. First, tariffs. The president announced last night that any countries aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS
That's right.
will be charged with an additional 10% tariff. Can you tell us more details on that? What specific policies is the president talking about here? What policies should countries stay away from to avoid being subject to additional tariffs?
Sure. Well, the president feels, generally speaking, that BRICS is seeking to undermine the interests of the United States. It's the president's utmost responsibility to put the interests of the United States first. That's how he views his job as president. So he's going to ensure that America is fairly treated on the world stage, and he'll take any action necessary to prevent countries from taking advantage of the United States and our people. Raquel, go ahead.
Illegal immigrants. Registrar Tom Homan told us this morning that ICE will have to arrest 7,000 illegal immigrants every day for the remainder of this administration to just catch the ones that were let in during the last administration. I'm wondering if the new resources and manpower, of course, given by the Big Beautiful Bill, which of course opens the door for ICE to hire additional 10,000 agents and officers. What's the administration's expectations now for daily arrest numbers going forward in upcoming months?
Sure. I'll let the Secretary of Homeland Security and her department speak on what they're looking for in terms of daily numbers. What I can tell you is I receive the daily reports each morning, and ICE is out there doing the jobs that they swore an oath to do, and they are removing public safety threats from our communities every day, and our country is becoming a safer place because of their efforts. And the One Big Beautiful Bill that is now law will give significant resources to ICE and Border Patrol to continue the tremendous work that they are already doing. And I think every American who wants to live in a safe neighborhood should be grateful for their efforts.
Thank you,
Raquel, and
Yeah,
then
they
I come
fight.
to you.
So much. So
And then you,
follow-up-
Dr. Harper.
Thank you, Caroline. It's a follow-up on the BRICS question. So does President Trump believe that the BRICS are getting stronger or trying to isolate the United States? And how close is he monitoring this summit that is taking place in Brazil right now?
He's closely monitoring it, which is why he put out a statement himself. He does not perceive these countries as growing stronger. He just perceives them as trying to undermine the United States' interests. And that's not okay with him, no matter how strong or weak a country may be. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
As promised, yes, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Does Trump have a vision for post-war Gaza? You mentioned, talking about now the ceasefire.
Did you not hear her?
Does he support permanent or temporary Israeli presence in the Gaza Strip? Does he continue to see a continued role for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to?
I swear to God, man, a lot of this runtime is padded
as
by
you know, 'cause
reporters
we've talked
asking the
about it
same
before, the
questions over and over and over
has
again.
directed aid to be moved into the region, and that has been taking place. You've actually seen people in the Gaza Strip yelling out, "Thank you, Trump," for the aid and for the meals that they have received, because the previous administration never did that for some reason. But this president, again, wants to see peace and stability in the region. So as I outlined previously, he views this part of the region as having a real chance at being peaceful and prosperous. But again, we need to end this war. We need to get all the hostages home, and Hamas needs to accept this proposal in order to do that. Dr. Harper, go ahead.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper with the Intermountain Christian University. Thank you for taking my questions. Given the nature of the Palestinian Authority, with their pay to slay, teaching Jew hatred to children, corrupt leaders, and no elections for 19 years, who does President Trump support to govern Area A and Area B to prevent Hamas from ruling? And what is President Trump's position on Israeli sovereignty?
Sure. Well, the president believes Israel, of course, has a right to defend itself. As for the first part of your question, you're getting ahead, Dr. Harper. As I told you, the president wants Hamas to accept this proposal right now. He wants to see peace in this region, and he's committed to doing that. Sean.
Hey, Caroline, can you just please walk us through the decision to halt the supply of weapons to Ukraine at a time when Russia is really hitting Ukrainian cities and civilians? Was that the president who decided that, or did the Pentagon do it without his approval?
Yeah, we haven't heard about Ukraine in a
I'm
minute.
happy to walk you through it. This was a standard review by the Pentagon of all weapons and all aid and all support that the United States is providing all countries and all regions around the world, not just Ukraine. When the Secretary of Defense took office, he directed the Pentagon to conduct this review to ensure that everything that's going out the door aligns with America's interests. So it's a pause to review to ensure that everything the Pentagon is pushing out there is in the best interest of our military and our men and women in uniform. Fran.
Two questions on Israel. You suggested that
nothing.
Hamas is the impediment currently to a ceasefire. So if not a ceasefire deal, then what does the president hope to achieve with tonight's dinner with the prime minister?
Again, you guys are getting around to a lot of hypotheticals. I don't want to get ahead of the president, but there are many other issues to discuss with Prime Minister Netanyahu tonight related to the region and just the entire world. So this will be a dinner to talk about Operation Midnight Hammer, which was incredibly successful, to talk about peace in Gaza and ending that conflict, as well as many other topics of discussion in relation to Israel and the United States. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Given the fact that this is on the trade letters, given the fact that the president put into effect the tariffs on April 2nd and then put the pause into place, is the president at all concerned that these countries that are receiving the letters won't take them seriously because the deadline seems to have shifted already and may shift again?
They will take the letters seriously because they have taken the president seriously. And that's why the president's phone, I can tell you, rings off the hook from world leaders all the time who are begging him to come to a deal. And this administration is working hard to ensure those deals are in the best interest of the American people. And this delay, again, is in the best interest of the American people. And you all will continue to see these letters released on the president's Truth Social. And we will see you all later. Thank you, guys.
On that whole situation, just to clear it up, because a lot of people do not understand how deals work. And I had to admit, there's a difference between cashing a check and being a check writer. There's a difference between being a 1099 tax filer versus a W-2 tax filer, especially when you've done it all your life and you've never written a check to an employee. And I'm not saying that really to bash, but understand it's a different ball game when you're in charge. It's a completely different ball game. It's not like paying your rent. It's completely different. When you're dealing with countries that want to do business with the United States, they want to continue to have an in into our financial market. All right. Certain things they have to acquiesce to. If you want us to sell your mangoes in our country, then we should be able to sell our bananas in yours. All right. And this is the import-export tax. You're charging us 25%, but we're only charging you 10%. Nope, we're going to bump you up to 25%. It has to be fair across the board. But you're not taking, just like with India and China, you're not taking our bananas, our coconuts. No, we're taking your mangoes. Well, you're going to take our bananas and coconuts for your mangoes and your strawberries. We're going to even the playing field, not just on the tax on the tariffs, but also on the products that are coming in and out. You need to open up your market to us, just like we've opened up our market to you. Now it's just a matter of the businesses that are in these foreign countries. They want to know, well, what is the tariffs going to look like? How much is the government going to hammer out for us, for the country, so that way we know what we have to pay? This is why they're sending out the letters, 25%, bruh, straight off the rip. And this is what you should allow us to sell into your country. If not, then hey. If not, then you need to get on the phone and make a deal. I'll give you till the 1st, to cash this welfare check. I'll give you another month on this welfare check. And then that's it. You're done. So now that the letters are going out and these countries are getting these letters, their business leaders are going to have to convene with their president or prime minister, whatever they have, council of elders, shamans, chieftains, whatever, who's ever in charge. You're like, hey, look, so how much is this going to cost us? And then once they look at the balance sheet and they realize that it's just like you have countries now, because they did make the deal with China and whatnot, they realize it is cheaper to open up a factory here in the United States. You spend the $5 million on the Trump Gold Card, you get vetted, then you come over here, you build your factories from scratch using American labor, your office parks from scratch using American labor, and you pay American wages to American citizens, not the illegals. You will not undercut the American citizens. These jobs are for American citizens only, not for illegals. Not for illegals. We're no longer playing that game. Got some white guy on here, construction. I think he owns a construction company or a factory. He said the real world can't call it. It's cool. You got them, they got these factories that's empty. Oh, my workers won't show up because they're afraid of ICE. Why is your factory empty? Because your workers are afraid of ICE. Your big old warehouse empty because his workers are afraid of ICE. You mean to tell me you're the only American that works there? Don't you think you need to put out a help wanted sign? I mean, you're on social media talking about how instead of bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining, instead of doing that, you should be like, hey, look, I'm down here on Jefferson Street. I got this factory. The employees they abandoned, but I need for y'all. Hey, we're hiring. Come on down. We're hiring unskilled labor jobs. Come on in. We'll teach you. You know how to drive a forklift. You know how to count. Come on down. We're hiring. I need workers now. Let's go. We got pads. We got pad pens. We got applications. We'll give you 3 at a time. We got plenty of Xerox machines. Let's go. Let's get these factories filled. We'll talk about benefits packages and everything, when we get to orientation. But get your butts down here because I got projects to finish. I got mouths to feed. That's what you should be on social media saying when your business is emptied out because the employees you shouldn't even be having working for you, your slave wage labor has up and quit on you. You should be advertising that, hey, we're hiring. Yeah, the price is right, Bob. Yeah, like what are you doing? You're a greedy bastard, undercutting you're undercutting Americans. But at any rate, let's set that aside. So that's what these letters are all about. This is, hey, I'm giving you guys a chance. I'm giving you a chance. They call him Taco. Trump always caves on some, I don't know, I forget what the O stands for, but it's such a stupid liberal little joke. It's not even funny. Trump always chickens out. It's like, you idiots. Like, you've been in Congress for so long. Thank God that somebody's introducing a bill to set term limits on you all, because a lot of you need to be drummed out of Congress, especially on the Democrat side. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Maxine Waters are going to die in those seats. They're going to be sitting up there like Mitch McConnell, walking corpses. Like, you need to get them people up out of there. Hakeem Jeffries is just terrible. Get him out of there. Who's the other one? The one that's schlupping Rosario Dawson. Get him out of there too. What's up, Lewis? Get him out of there. Get these losers out of there. But yeah, so they need to figure out if it's cheaper to move their factories over to the United States than it is to have to pay the tariffs. So this is your last chance. He did the same thing with Mexico and Canada with the auto industry. He was slapped them with the tariffs, and the auto industry makers, they was like, oh, wait. We'll come back. And you give us 30 days. Remember the auto workers that came to the White House and talked to Trump? Was like, please give us 30 days. Give us time to move our inventory. And Trump said, okay. So then he dropped the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. And those automakers, oh man, they had trucks. If you was even out here in Atlanta on 285, because they're not allowed on 20 or 75, 85, they have to go 75, 85, they have to go around Atlanta. They had to take the outer belt because of the traffic. So they have, you take 285, which is right around the corner from me. You take 285, you see them, you saw those trucks with the cars, the car little trailers. They be having 8 to 12 cars on the trailer. They were half completed. Roofs were missing, everything covered in plastic. They was moving that inventory. They moved that inventory because they did not want to have to pay that tariff cost. So that's what he's doing here. And after 30 days, boom, he slapped the tariffs back on. Canada's the only one still acting a fool. But with these other countries, okay, I'll give you to the first of the month. But here's the letters. This is going to be my final offer. Take it or leave it. We can work on it. You want to change it, fine, but you have until the first. If you can't come up with a deal on the first, then this is the tariff price. Plain and simple. So let your people know I'm not going any lower than this, but we will talk about what gets traded in and out between both countries. How about that? So what you want to do? So now you're looking at potentially, but more than likely, you're going to be looking at more factory jobs coming over here to the United States from all of these other countries that are getting these letters. Flat out, China had to sign the deal. I mean, China liked to save face, but they were getting their butts kicked. I'm sitting up here. Remember we were watching China Insider and they were showing all of these factories that were being abandoned by their owners. They were absconding in the middle of the night because they didn't have the money to pay their workers, which is cheap. Like the one lady was talking about, yeah, I didn't get my paycheck. He owed me $311 for the month. For the month. Woo! Lord, shoot, I got $311 in a coat pocket. Come on in here and wash these dishes and mop this floor. Treat you like a Mexican. Treat you like an illegal. Let me stop. I'm being funny, but it's not funny, but it is funny. No, but still, yeah. Like these people, they were abandoning these factories because they were being shut down because the United States stopped placing orders. Without this market, countries die. You say Trump is on that Bron Thug Bone and Harmony side of the game. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Bone Thug and Harmony. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he on that. Yeah. He being straight gangster. He being straight gangster. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Either move your plant here or you put the money in our pocket. So, you know, it's the pimp game, baby. Put it in my pocket. Either way, I'm getting paid either way. Either I'm getting paid off of the taxes from your factory being here, or I'm getting paid off of the taxes that your country is paying me. Either way, the United States is getting paid. Just a matter of how you want to play it. No matter how you want to play it. But yeah, that's the whole thing with the yeah, Sungman Lewis said what's up. Let me see how this is looking here. Okay. All right. Count it out for daddy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are wild. But yeah, that's how it's looking. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. The big beautiful bill is now law. All right, no more people who make under 200K, no more federal income tax. That's 80% per check in your pocket, depending on where you live. If you can get one of these foreign factory jobs that's coming in, you're not going to be making that little $15 to $17 to $18 an hour. You're now going to be getting paid in the mid to high 20s, if not 30s and 40s. Based on experience, you're going to be making with benefits. Probably get your unions going back, your pensions, all of that stuff. You get it all back. You'll be getting it all back. Hopefully AI won't run you out of a job. You know, because technology is just growing rapidly, exponentially. Chicken sandwichy. Yeah, but technology is expanding rapidly. You know. So you're going to have to vote in certain safeguards in order to make sure that you can keep your job as a picker or a forklift operator or, you know, a pallet stacker or unloading trucks and everything. You have to make sure that those jobs do not get taken over by robots. You say this is good for kids coming out of high school. Yeah, because I mean, when you look at it, I mean, to take it back, I know I'm over my time, but screw it. But to take it back, we are a very poorly educated country. Very poorly educated from the grade school level up, even past college. Even past college. Poorly educated. It's a lot of unskilled labor out here. You need these jobs. Black jobs. You need these jobs. You need these factory jobs. You need these store jobs. You need these roofing jobs, these plumbing jobs, these trucking jobs, these grass cutting jobs. You need all these jobs. You sitting up here trying to protect the people that's keeping you out of the workforce, or making sure that if you do get into this workforce, you're getting paid minimum wage or less. You're getting paid slave wages because that's the going rate thanks to the illegals. You say like our parents in their day could live good coming out of high school. Right. Back in the day when they say, I want my country back. Remember that? I want my country back. You know, it used to be a time you come fresh out of high school, you either, doing a typing job or some type of trucking job or plumbing or whatnot. And that afforded you a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2-car garage, 2 cars, and the ability to send your kids to college with a full refrigerator. But America has gotten extremely more advanced as far as society. We pay for more. Internet costs money, cell phones, plans, all that stuff, computers, all this stuff. We became a nation of toy purchasers and everything. And this stuff, it costs money. The only way you're going to be able to, quote unquote, keep up with the Joneses is you have to get a good paying job, a good paying, low skill factory job. Like Lewis said, AI is destroying white collar jobs. It sure the hell is. You're freaking $100,000 degree in Bolivian ballroom dancing. I mean, the best thing you can do with that is to be somebody's secretary working in the office pool. But if AI is taking the job away from you, then good Lord. At least they did in the big, beautiful bill, they put a cap on the amount you can borrow for a student loan, especially with the crappy degrees that people are going for because they're high school educated, but their skills are like their reading, writing, arithmetic skills is that of a sixth grader. I mean, Harvard has a course in remedial math. Harvard. Remedial math. You take that in 5th, 6th grade, if not junior high school, 9th grade. You know, remember the slow kids? They took remedial math with pluses, minuses, was it plus, addition, subtraction, division, and what was the other one? I know there's 3 of them. But as far as like calculus and all that stuff, no. Trigonometry, no. Like George Lopez sitcom character is out of a job. Thank you, Ice. No, George was legal. George was legal. His mama wasn't. His mama was illegal, but George wasn't. I used to watch that show. Yeah, the George Lopez show. That show was funny. I used to watch that. But George was illegal. His mother wasn't. But his father, he's legal because of his father. His father came over from Cuba. He got naturalized through his father, but his mother is illegal. So, you know. Remember, his mother is the criminal of the family. No, but yeah, George Lopez. Y'all ain't familiar with that show? Yeah, he was a foreman, you know, at the factory, at a warehouse. No, but man, that show was funny. No, but yeah, these white collar jobs. Yeah, she was wide open. Yeah, them white collar jobs, you're in trouble. At least the trucking union, because they already saw what was going on for the next 5 years, they got it signed into law that they have to be on the truck. They have to be in the truck. In these self-driving trucks that Tesla and whatnot are putting out, they have to be, you know, for these long haul transports, you know, interstate rides, they have to be in the truck. Somebody has to be in the cab. Even though the truck is driving itself, somebody has to be in the cab unless they, you know, in case the truck hits Mrs. O'Leary's cow or runs over little Timmy or it gets into an accident, somebody has to be there to, you know, be the human contact. I mean, what the hell are you gonna do? Beat up a motherboard? Yeah, so at least they did that. So the truckers, long haul truckers will always have a job, but it won't be 2 of you in the cab. It will just be 1, you know, but it's normally just 1 of you and a lot lizard anyway. So, you know, it is what it is. So at least they got that done. Hollywood, a lot of the writers or whatnot, they tried to get it into contract where AI doesn't take their jobs, their writing jobs away. You got some of the animators or whatnot. They also had anime restrictions. This was like maybe about 2 years ago when remember they went on strike. Remember the Hollywood actors went on strike, but not only did the Hollywood actors go on strike, but so did the writers and the animators and whatnot. I mean, all of the unions there, they all went on strike. But their biggest gripe outside of the actors, the actors had the whole AI thing too. But it was the other people that put on all the productions and whatnot. Their biggest gripe was with AI. They put a cap on all of that. Personally, if I was an actor, if you want to use my likeness, my AI likeness, number one, I have to approve it. And you're going to pay me. You're going to pay me like I was on set. The beauty of it is, though, is that I'm not you're not shooting for 14 hours where I've had to redo the same scene 7 times. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm doing a stunt, and then I mess around there and break my elbow, and then now we're out of production for 6 months. No. Yeah, you can use my likeness, but I need to approve. Give me the script. Let me read the script. If there are any changes or whatnot, I need to be informed beforehand. I need to see everything beforehand. Let me see what you've all done to me. Let me see the digitized version of me. They did, what was that? That was on Black Mirror. They did an episode like that with Black Mirror with Salma Hayek, her fine self. Yeah, she was in that jumpsuit. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, but they did that with her. They were showing how they AI clone you, and then they use you to do these whole scripts and everything. And you sitting on the beach of Waikiki drinking the Mai Tai. Meanwhile, they sitting up here generating this movie that not only is not costing them that much to produce, but you're getting paid what, $10-20 million just for really doing, just for your likeness, plus a percentage point off of streaming service and ticket sales. If you play it right, you're only worth what you negotiate for. Yeah, she's still hot to this day. I think it's because she ain't had no kids. And I stayed off the drugs. Work out. That little mamacita. At any rate, no, but yeah, AI is the biggest people that's going to suffer with AI. It's definitely going to be white collars and creatives. But as I tell creatives, I'm like, look, man, you better learn this stuff instead of bitching, moaning, whining, and crying about it taking your job. You better learn to work this stuff. You can still charge for your services, but hey, this is my AI generated work. Nobody's going to be paying you to hand draw and all this stuff, something that's going to take you a week to do, when they can hire somebody else, some 16-year-old kid, $50 to produce what they want in less than a day. Less than a day. But somehow you're trying to justify you going to art school. I'm sorry, bro. Your job is obsolete. Your job is obsolete. Obsolete. Going the way of the dodo. You better learn to take flight or starve. No, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be, we're only 6 months into this presidency? Got 3.5 more years to go. All the big stuff, the big beautiful bill was the biggest thing that he had to tackle as far as paperwork. You say full product in the teenager's funky bedroom, right? You got empty kombucha bottles and stuff all littered all over the floor, some crumpled up toilet tissue. But he's just in there rocking out in his chair, just creating all your AI stuff. Bling! Check your email. He sent you a link. You got a full-fledged movie. He did it in 3 hours. All AI generated and looking good too. Meanwhile, you sitting up here crying and moaning, bitching and crying about, I'm trying to do it with my pencils and my stencils and my markers. Man, please. Nobody trying to hear that. We're America. We have a microwave mentality. We want it quick, fast, and cheap. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I'll definitely catch y'all tomorrow. I want to do some crime tomorrow. It's been a while since we talked about crime, hasn't it? Let's do some crime tomorrow. Yeah. Y'all be safe, man.
Demon King Satan! Satan!
Nope, not
Satan!
creepy at all.
Satan! 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 Satan!
I actually felt retarded, like really retarded. I mean, I brushed my teeth retarded. I rode the bus retarded. Dang. In a weird way, I had to sort of just free myself up to believe that it was okay to be stupid or dumb.
To be a moron.
Yeah.
To be moronical.
Exactly. To be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. No.
You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you.
And then I'm like, this baby motherfucker better not blow up by nuclear shit, or I'm gonna go loco on this bitch. And then he blows up all my nuclear shit, and I'm like, call my general. And they tell me, they're all dead, sir. And I'm like, assemble the army. And they're like, they're dead too, sir. So then I'm like, launch the friggin' missiles. And they're like, sir, they're gone, sir. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn, I know I shouldn't have called on this nigga. I shouldn't have called on you because you always trying to distract motherfucker. Fine, I'll answer your stupid ass question.
We have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Get the fuck out!
All right, bye. Thanks for the fun.